it tells me that we have a good turnout first when every chair on every table is taken. But when there's robust discussion like I'm seeing right now, it means that we could have breakfast and all of us go home. Because that means it means we've networked and we've been able to talk to each other, meet and discuss the problems that that the nation and the globe is facing. So I want you guys to give each other a round of applause for that. I will tell you a little bit as we go along of what we were discussing on our table. Interesting stuff. But first of all, let me just welcome all of you to this leadership breakfast hosted by Ulendo. Judy, she loves introducing me, but doesn't like me introducing her. So today is one of those times that I do that. So Judy Jones is related to me by marriage. I must specify that part. Yeah, and I've known Judy since I was like a young man. I'm far from being young man anymore. I told you on our table that I've lived 2 lifetimes. So, and she's been doing this for a long time. So we opened some establishment organizations together over the years, so we know each other well. Dr. Obota asked me, he said, how come you always get this gig? And I said, Dr. Obota, I'm retired. I actually don't do any more of this, but when Judy calls, I answer. So Judy Jones, please stand up so that they can see who you are. Those of us that don't know you. That's Judy. So Ulendo and your team, well done for putting together this leadership breakfast. My name is King Darlington Maseta, and I will pray, then introduce Matifa to come and just welcome everyone. Let us pray. Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord, for this opportunity that you've given us. Thank you for putting us together, your people. You've got a mandate for us. You've got a desire for us to be united so that we can do your work on this earth. So we thank you for all that's gathered here today. That we will have robust discussions. We will learn some things, some good things, and we will make this nation go to those high destinies where our dream is called. Thank you for that, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you for that. Matifa, please come and welcome everybody. This is Matifa. Thank you. She's got her own one.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not hiding. I'm just standing here because I need a little support. Well, thank you. It's such a great turnout, and we are happy, ecstatic to see all these lovely faces. Yes, so it's such a great pleasure to have you and to welcome you to this much anticipated leadership breakfast. We are all so honored that you've committed to spend this life-changing, inspirational morning with us. Without turning this welcome into a vote of thanks, I would like to take a moment to thank each and every one of you that are here. This is very meaningful to us, and we hope it will be meaningful to you as well. We'd like to thank our partners, sponsors, and attendees. I'm sure most of you have received a call or an email from someone from Ulendo saying, are you coming for the breakfast? Are you coming for the breakfast? And recently we were raving and we're saying that we have industry giants that will be coming. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Each and every one of us is a leadership giant in our own right. We have Bank ABC here. We have brand builders. We have SEMAs. A little more love for SEMAs, we see you. We have Crow Chartered Accountants. We have Friendship Bench. We have independent consultants that are here in their own capacities. Les Afraid. No love for Les Afraid. Thank you. We have MEFME. Modus Investments, NMB, Pick and Pay, our everyday shop, Radio Solutions, Success Bank, the Sales Institute. Love it. We love the energy. We have Traffic Safety Council. We have Ubuntu Lab, Varichem, and Wintertons. I hope I have not left anyone out. But in addition to having a great lineup of attendees, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to let you know that the next hours you will be spending will be life-changing. However, this does come with a caution. I'm sure most of us have been to many conferences, seminars, you name it. But a question that I bring to you today is what will be different about today? This seminar can happen. You can sit, smile at passerbys, and when 12 strikes the clock, we say goodbye. But what happens after that? So I would like to challenge each and every one of you to take this experience in. They say life has no rewind button. So take the moment in, reflect, and think about how you can apply this in your daily life. In conclusion, I also would like to give you a challenge as well. I would like to leave you with a quote by Oscar Wilde. He says, the only thing to do with good advice is to pass it on. We are here to feed as well, but I challenge you today. In a random conversation you have with a stranger that you've met today over breakfast, even if it is in this welcome speech you've heard from little old me, or from our MC today, he has so many words of wisdom. I do challenge you to pack whatever it is, a life lesson that you can pick from whatever it is that you experience here today. Package it into a little tidbit of advice and think of how you can give advice to an upcoming or a future leader. If you have no one you can think of at this particular moment, store it, and when the opportunity presents itself, seize the moment. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Marty. You notice that when she's speaking, she has to go on the platform. I don't. I don't know what that's all about. If she was a man, I would make my comment, but she's not. I would be very polite. But she has to go onto the platform. So, she's given you out some challenges. I want to ask the question, and maybe some of these questions that I ask now, take them in and then answer them as we go through the day. The question is this. There's organizations that we talked about here, and there's some people who are part of an organization that wasn't mentioned because you're not part of that organization, like me. Does that mean that I'm not a leader? Does that mean that because I'm not celebrated, I'm not a leader? The question I'm asking you today when you leave here is, are you doing enough for you to be recognized by you to say that you're a leader? On our table, I made the statement to say the time for big government is now done. We don't need big government anymore. This is not political. It's just a statement. Let me tell you why. Dr. Bopoto was given an example of a road that they were doing in his area. They needed to fix the road. So they called city council and they got permission to fix the road. I'm not going to take you through all of it, but they got permission to fix the road. And their road is fixed. How many of us are leading in that direction where we need water or we need roads fixed and we do it ourselves? So if we're doing all those things, what do we need city council for? Just take that in them. Let me leave you with another thought. When was the last time, does anybody know here the last time the monetary policy was announced? Not my table. Anybody else? When was the last time the Minister of Finance came out and announced monetary policy? We can't remember. Does it matter? Well, so here's my question. If the champions, the giants of industry, don't even remember when the guy last came to do that, then does it matter? Let me leave you with those two thoughts. I'll be back in a minute. Judy, please come and just do, just talk to us a little bit. Maybe Judy's going to talk about things that don't cause you to go and spend and be a guest of the state. Judy, please come up. Please give her a big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, partners. Thank you very much. I'm going to get onto the podium. I'm sure all of you know I'm a trainer, so I've brought my loads of pieces of paper. I'm going to read from my paper, because if you allow me to speak, I will not stop. And Rachel, we might have to serve lunch after this. So I just have two roles today, or two duties. I think my first one is just to talk a little bit about our leadership development program that we are also launching here with you today. May I introduce Rachel? See, I won't call you Mkwasha. Okay. And I also have the pleasure of introducing Rachel. Are you ready for us? Have you had breakfast? Okay, great. I'm just going to read out this to all of you, and I'm appealing to leaders, and I know each of you are leaders, but those that are leaders of leaders, and in possession in terms of building the capacity for leaders in our wonderful, wonderful country, Zimbabwe. And I'm saying leaders, we all know by definition, tend to be self-sufficient, or we think they are. They are trainers rather than trainees. Experts relied on for guidance and direction. However, this assumption that leaders are inherently self-sustaining simply due to their job title and experience is not only misleading, but also, ladies and gentlemen, can be detrimental to an entire organization. We take this for granted. We see it time and time again. A talented individual, recognized for their competency in their field, is elevated to a leadership position. And what happens next? They continue to do what they've always done best. Focus on their specialized skills. While this might have been the very reason that they were noticed and promoted, it does not necessarily translate into effective leadership. Consequently, we observe teams struggling or failing to thrive under such leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, a whole new skill set is required for effective leadership, beyond the acquired competency of a specific role or position. These leadership skills are not simply acquired or maintained with a new job title. They must be cultivated and refined through continuous learning. There's an assumption of competence, and I just want to read a little paragraph about it. In the corporate world, there's a pervasive assumption that once an employee, like I've just said, climbs to a certain rung on the ladder, they become a supervisor, a manager, a GM, MD, CEO, senior partner. Thank you, Mrs. Matika. You've got a lovely smile on your face there. It's assumed that they inherently possess the necessary skills to lead effectively. The belief is rooted in the idea that experience alone is a sufficient teacher, and that seniority equates to leadership prowess. However, this assumption is flawed and can lead to a dangerous neglect of ongoing leadership development. What are the consequences of this neglect? When organizations operate under this assumption, they inadvertently set up their leaders and, by extension, their teams for failure. Leaders may become isolated, losing touch with the ground or realities of their teams. How often do we see that in our organization? This isolation can breed a form of insulation where leaders are cocooned, and I'm sure you're going to talk about this, Rachel, in their established ways, resist to new ideas, or blind to emerging issues within their teams. Quite recently, I spoke to a CEO and I said, your results of your psychological assessment says that there is a high level of fear in your organization. And they said to me, nonsense, what are they afraid of? And the ripple effect of that isolation just does not affect the leaders, it trickles down, affecting team dynamics and performance. Leaders who are not up to date with the latest management techniques or who lack self-awareness may inadvertently pass on bad habits to their team members. These habits can manifest, as poor communication, ineffective feedback, lack of empathy, all of these things which erode team morale and productivity. So that's the need. Team leaders, those that hold the purse strings, we call them, HR leaders, any of you that are leaders in your own area, there is a need for continuous learning. Leadership is not a static skill, but it's dynamic. And it requires continuous learning and adaptation. Just as industry evolves, so too must the skills and approaches of those who lead them. Leadership training should be seen as a continuous journey, not a destination reached or a certain job title. We must invest in growth of our leaders. Organizations must invest in their leaders at all levels. We must sharpen our swords. We must provide each other with tools, training, support. We all need to grow because we know if we are not growing, we are dying. This investment pays dividends in the form of more engaged, productive teams and a culture that values growth and learning. It is important because, as I said, that myth of self-sufficiency in leadership is not just a disservice to the leaders themselves, but to the entire organization. We must commit to continuous leadership development. Companies must foster a culture of excellence and shared success. And this is what I'll conclude in saying, ladies and gentlemen, let's invest in our leadership pipeline. As Rachel will say, and I know you'll say because this is such, when I heard you talk about this almost 6 years ago, and I asked you to speak about this topic again, which is courageous leadership. She will tell you that Africa does not have a crisis of leadership. We have the critical mass for leadership. But what we lack is a critical mass of courageous youth. We have a crisis of courage more than leadership. Thus, our theme at Ulendo for the Leadership Development Program this year is going to be themed Courageous Leadership. And I know you are going to talk about that. I'm just going to ask the Ulendo team members to just come through. Please, can you ask the ladies to come through? Charlene? If you can ask the ladies to come through. Are they here? Where are you? Okay, please can you stand up? So over the next few weeks, I know that you are going to have individuals and ladies that are going to be calling you and talking to you about our leadership development program. I'm not going to take the time to go through the content, but we do have 2 of our facilitators that will be here. Of course, one of them will be Rachel. And that's why we wanted you to meet Rachel. She'll be one of our lead facilitators. When we can find the time for you, I said to you we'll be talking about May or June. And Tembi Kumalo, Tembi, if you can just stand up, from Brand Builder. She's also going to be working with us. And our other 2 facilitators actually don't live in Zimbabwe. They are based in South Africa. And this is the team that will also be speaking to you, communicating to you. And Charlene Murewa, Matifadza, you will hear from her. And we have our 2 interns that are here, Nicole and Candice. Okay. Nicole's actually on her way out. She's got an athletic scholarship and she'll be going to the USA. So when we see her at the next Olympics, please cheer for her and you'll say, I know that one. So we will be sad to see you go. So she leaves off in May, and then Candace is joining us. She's just graduating next month in industrial psychology, and she'll be our graduate trainee for the next year. And Team Radio Solutions, you'll remember this in our strategy session a few months ago, where we said that every organization, particularly in the sales team, needs to employ a madman or a mad woman. We have a mad woman, okay? Ashley. I'm sure every one of you, please let's give her a round of applause, has spoken to Ashley. She's our mad woman, okay? Vivacious, passionate, and most of all, courageous. Ashley is not afraid. I've told Rachel that she can do not anything, okay, but we're so proud of her. We're so, so proud of her. Thank you. Thank you to the Ulendo team. My second process is I have the honor of introducing Rachel Nyaradzo Adams. I met Rachel just off a year after she had come back to Zim. And I asked her the same questions. What are you doing here? I was almost mad with her for coming back home. And I'm sure she'll tell you the little story. But I'm happy to. I'm ecstatic. It's going to be almost 10 years, maybe too short. 8 years now you've been home. Amazing. But Rachel, named one of the 100 young influential Africans, Rachel Nyaradzo Adams, is driven by her commitment to empower towards courageous and authentic leadership. She believes that Africa will not only get the future it deserves if leaders can access their highest courage and most authentic power. She is the founder of Narachi Leadership, 2015 to present, so yes, almost 10, where she merges tools from neuroscience, psychology, and ontology to give clients a holistic opportunity for theirs and their followers' continued development. In this work, she offers her expertise as a facilitator, coach, advisory partner, and speaker. She works with corporate entrepreneurs, teams, and individuals. Rachel has received numerous leadership fellowships, numerous awards for leadership and academic excellence, including the Desmond Tutu Leadership Fellowship, the Mandela Rhodes Scholarship, the Mellon Mays Leadership and Service Award, the Mellon Mays Scholarship and Felix Scholarship. She read for her Masters in African Studies at the University of Oxford, at St. Anthony's College, and for her undergraduate and honors degree in social anthropology at the University of Cape Town. Rachel's ambition is to develop deep benches of leaders across Africa, leaders who can accelerate the transformation and inclusive development of the continent. She has spoken and trained on various platforms to executives and emerging leaders. These include the UN, the World Bank, Obama Leaders, TEDx, L'Oreal Women in Science, and Eve, amongst others. Should I go on? She also sits on the boards of Minds, St. George's College, and the Old Mutual Youth Fund. Rachel, I have so much admiration for your boldness, courage, and open mind. I look back and say, I wish I had that courage 20 years ago. May this brilliant mind that you have change the youth in Africa, one leader at a time. Thank you, Rachel. Please come up.
Thank you.